Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. It's kind of an interesting episode today. So, you guys already know, not every video that I make is going to be wrestling related. Not every video is going to be a pickup video or is going to be some kind of action figure review video. So, a lot of the videos I do make, a lot of them do come from simple conversations that I have with the viewers. A lot of the most brilliant light bulb ideas, like I said, come from the most basic of conversations. In last week, I had a conversation with my buddy Kirk, and a full hour of discussion, and one of the takeaways we were discussing our collections and what happens later on in life. Brilliant concept. I was able to make a fun video out of that. One of the viewers, another Matt, he had a loss, and it sucks because it kind of doubled up on me. Yeah, I made that video a couple days ahead of time, and the day that I posted that video, my wife decided to take one of our cats to the vet and found out that it was end of life for her. So, that sucked. My wife and I, we don't have kids. And I never was a fan of folks that refer to their pets as their children. To me, that just was very cringy. But as someone who doesn't have kids, for me, that to me was my eldest daughter. I mean, I could look at her as my oldest female pet, but so it has an a little bit of pain to it. 16 years being with someone, seeing someone every day or whatnot, and then having that taken away, it sucks. But kind of talking to, again, the other Matt, he kind of gave me the idea to talk about loss. What do you do? How do you move forward after the loss of a beloved pet? And just yesterday, another viewer I talk to regularly. Now, guys, I don't use Facebook that often. I think I created a Facebook maybe a year and a half ago or so, because at the time Eric was telling me that, yeah, if you want to get your channel more recognized, you need to get a Facebook account. And I don't know how to navigate those systems. And for like a year and a half, I didn't do anything with it. If you go on my Facebook page, it's blank. Every now and then I'll find someone on there that I know, that I do business with, or that I'm friendly with, that I'll send a request to, or they'll send a request to me. But up until recently, up to like maybe the last couple weeks, did I finally start making posts or anything on that page, Facebook page? But yeah, a lot of people, they do reach out to me and friend request me and send messages and whatnot. So on Monday night, Jason, New Age Revolution, put out a video, his farewell video, letting everybody know that he is retiring from YouTube. I still kind of feel like this isn't farewell. I kind of still feel like he will be making videos. I think he's just simply taking a break. I think that this is too much of a passion for him, that I don't think he's going to be gone for too long. But at the end of the day, if this is farewell, I feel like he had a really good run and inspired a lot of people. Again, you guys already know, I've said it a million times, he inspired the collection. He inspired my channel. So I do have a lot of thanks, a lot of gratitude that I do send his way. I may have had a lot of hiccups, a lot of issues in the last couple of weeks, or something that's been boiling over time, but it doesn't take away the early stages of kind of the inspiration and whatnot. So Tuesday morning, I decided to kind of do my first YouTube community post and wish him good luck. congratulate him on his retirement and wish him luck and whatnot. So, two days later, so Thursday, well, but yesterday, I guess Chris saw that post on YouTube and he reached out to me. And this is the funny thing. This is what the funny part of the conversation. It wasn't a long, it was just text message back and forth for a few minutes. So he says, with Jason retiring, does that make you the new 80s revolution? It's a fun sentiment, but no. I think I'm pretty happy being Waddy's channel. I've spent a lot of time, put a lot of effort into building and establishing my own identity. And I kind of feel like if I stepped into the shoes of the new 80s revolution, I would be, by taking that moniker, it would be like holding a title, like Lord and Lady and Duke and Duchess and stuff like that, right? So I wouldn't be my own person anymore. I would basically be the title of New 80s Revolution. So, no, this man, he built this stuff up over a course of almost a decade. And that's his brainchild. That's his baby right there. I would never take on that moniker. Even if it's just kind of like as like a friendly name that, you know, my viewers would refer to me as. And I don't see myself as the spin-off of 80s Revolution. I've always, from the very get-go of this channel, I always try to make myself unique. Notice that a lot of my videos are original ideas, original thoughts. Now, yes, you will come across like Hasbro review videos and LJN review videos. You're going to see me reviewing stuff like grapplers and gimmicks and zombie sailors. There's a million different people that have done that stuff, okay? There's not really, you're not really ripping anybody off because everyone's doing that stuff right there. But I kind of feel like things like doing reviews of the different type of customs from LJN, which was a really fun and unique idea. Doing the many different tournaments that I've made over the years was a brilliant idea. Now, I've had different nomenclatures for them over the years, and I kind of use Jason as an example because he kind of made his little off-brand. I don't want to say off-brand. Yeah, that works. No, that's kind of insulting. His own version of hey, do you remember type stuff, but think of that, but my version 2 years prior. And like I said, over the years I've changed the name based on which segment I'm creating or which segment I'm talking about. So yeah, there are a lot of videos that kind of tie in. I think a lot of us in this community, a lot of us that make these type of wrestling or collection type videos, you are going to end up having a lot of the very similar videos. So it's really hard to have 100% uniqueness. If anybody thinks that they're going to make these type of videos and they're not going to parallel someone else, it's impossible. One day, someone is going to make an idea thinking it's original to them and find out that, hey, someone else has been doing it or whatnot. But, so I kind of laughed at that when he mentioned that, are you going to be the new 80s Revolution? I'm like, no. And also, I kind of feel like somebody born in the 70s. Someone who was born in the 70s, at the very least, early 80s. And I'm talking like 81, 82. I think even if you're born in like 83, especially if it's like the later half of 83, yeah, you're probably going to remember a lot of the food, a lot of the music, movies, a lot of the toys of the 80s. But you're so young at that point, growing up in the 80s, that you're really not going to remember a whole lot. Now, if you're born in 1975, for example, you know, you're already 5 years old by the time 1980 rolls around. So you can actually remember the abundance of the 1980s. So I think someone who was born in the 70s, at the very least, very early stage of the 1980s, would be much more equipped to be considered the new 80s revolution because they have the ability to actually remember the 80s a lot more than I do. I was born right at the beginning of the mid-section of the 80s, mid-half of the 80s, so I've got about 5 years of 1980s memories. So, for me, yeah, I can say I grew up in the 80s, true, but most of my memories are reflective of the 90s, so in that regard, no. I appreciate the sentiment that I could be someone that you look at as a solid replacement that you would tune into, but it was special. With this type of niche market, based on the type of videos we've been making over the years, I think he had a successful run. The thing with YouTube is you got to really have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Your videos got to receive hundreds of thousands of views to be considered successful. I mean, to be the higher echelon, you got to be in the millions, subscribers and view count. But for me, my channel is so small that if I get a video that hits 500 views, to me, my mind is blown. That's like enormous in my eyes. So I've had a few videos blow up, and they're not wrestling or collection related. They're Karen videos, Karen discussion videos, or their true crime discussion videos. Those are the videos that got me to 1,000 plus views, 2,000 plus views, 2,500 plus views in a very short period of time. And you really only got about a week or so. After about a week, you might get a view here or there, but those first, let's say 5 to 7 days, even about 4 to 7 days, really is when your view count is really going to stop. So when I say my average video is like 100 views, that means within like the first 3 days, 4 days. If you come back 2 weeks later and say, hey, this video's at 300 views, I only look at the first few days because that's really the important part. Because a year later, that video could still be at 300 views, so there was really no movement. Further, again, this conversation, it wasn't just that particular question. We talked for a few minutes, message back and forth for a few minutes, and he obviously brought up random treasures. If anyone out here is designed or equipped to take over, pick up the slack for Jason up, I would like to throw my hat in the ring, but at the same time, I don't know. Is this a discussion for this video, or is this a discussion for another video? Because I do have ideas, and obviously I don't want to knock on what their plan was, but I see what was going on, and I have ideas for improvement. Maybe it doesn't improve anything, maybe it does, but I don't know. I kind of feel like, yeah, over the last couple of years, based on, I can't speak for other people. I can speak for myself because I know what I purchased and the amount of money I spent at the shop. So would I be the perfect candidate in as far as owning all their stuff and being able to speak honestly? Yeah. But at the same time, Jason and they came together and they formed this bond, and they had this plan in mind. And to me, that's their thing. I wouldn't want to interrupt or come in between the tandem or the partnership that they created. It's like when you have a baseball team and you've got the president and you've got the general manager, and they come together and they tear down the organization, and then they go on this massive losing streak for years, and then they start building up the team through free agent signings and through the draft, and then they create a World Series contender. You look at the 2016 Cubs. That's what they did with Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer. Theo Epstein leaves. Jed Hoyer, obviously not equipped to handle the Cubs the same way that Theo Epstein, that he and Theo Epstein were able to work together. So it's complete 180 for the organization. But the thing is, I can come in with my own ideas on to improve and make more sales. But the one thing I can say is this. A lot of time in videos, especially with those who have a lot of subscribers, I'm talking, hundreds of thousands, millions. One of the most irritating things of a YouTube video is when the creator kind of cuts in the middle to give an advertisement for whoever's sponsoring them. I would love to be sponsored by anybody, okay? And best believe 100% if anybody ever sponsors my channel in the future, if I ever hit that level where I am deemed ready to be sponsored, I will advertise the hell out of that product. I am no different than anyone else in that regard. You're supporting me by sponsoring me? Hell yeah. That's, it's a trade-off. But it's still, even though, you understand where they're coming from as far as that sponsorship and the deals that they're making, it's still annoying to get those in video advertisements. I think a lot of people may just fast forward through them. I don't know, but anyways, when I kind of look at Jason's videos in the beginning, they were fun, but then I kind of, the one thing I didn't like, that if I did have one red flag for him, or one upgrade, I should say, one recommendation, is that you were giving these 10 to 15 minute commercials. Me, and luckily I'm not alone on this, because I've got all of these people who watch the videos that I make, and they all tell me the same thing. So what we want to see is a genuine, heartfelt, 100% accurate, your true feelings and thoughts on the product. Just I can, Jason, he mentioned to me once that he blocked my messages because he didn't like the fact that I didn't like the Ivan Putski figure. I didn't say anything bad about it. I can't remember what the exact wording was, but it was something to the effect that this figure wasn't for me. I didn't like the figure. I still own the figure. I went out and purchased it. There are a lot of Random Treasure figures I don't like that I went out and purchased. Why? One of it is because I'm a completist and I want to have the complete collection, sure. But I think a lot of it is because I really like the folks at Random Treasures. I think Net and the team over there give some of the best service and are amazing folks, and I love dealing with them. So this is my way to support the company in my own way. And when I sit down and I give a review, I think my viewers and any viewer that are tuning in, whether they're subscribed or not, maybe they're watching one video and that's it, I think they really appreciate, and I've been told this many times as well, that my reaction is genuine. They like the fact that I give a fair and honest assessment, and I'm not just simply advertising to them. And I think that's one downside that I would argue for New Age Revolution, is that it was always a commercial. It was always an advertisement. If you had given like an honest assessment, I think they could have sold a whole lot more. He's got 10 times more subscribers than I did, so he's going to be able to reach a whole lot more people. But if it was just simply bringing in more customers, go to Mr. Beast. 200 million subscribers. How many thousands upon thousands of sales could they have made if they had paid the money to, let's say, Mr. Beast to advertise that product? Just an example. But I think that the fact that it was a 10 and 15 minute commercial advertising, that kind of turned a lot of people off. And I've done reviews where, hey, I like this, that, and the other, but I really don't like this, I don't like that, and I don't like this. But I'll get comments that say, hey, even though you didn't like this figure, I really enjoyed it, but because of your review, I went ahead and I purchased this figure. There have been many, many times that I've made videos and someone has reached out to me and told me that they have purchased the figure because of my review. Sometimes I've given a positive review, sometimes not so much. But either way, I've still heard back that people purchase it because of my video. So I'm still doing justice one way or the other. And it's because of that honest feedback. One man's trash, another man's treasure, right? If I don't like something about a particular figure, it doesn't mean that someone else isn't going to be absolutely in love with it. So when he kind of made the, when he was asking, do I think that I could basically start working with Net and start advertising for her? I'm already doing all the videos for her over the last couple of years. So that's number one. I don't want to come in between the relationship that she and Jason does have together. So, no. In that regard, I think that's out of the question. Two, even if he is retired, I still think whenever she comes out with new videos or new figures, I think he'll still come back and make videos for the new figures regardless. So that's why I kind of say I don't think he's gonna be fully retired. I just think it's a simple break, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a few days, and be like, hey, this is boring. I want to make videos again, talk to you guys. I know with me, I love making these videos because I love the communication in the comments and meeting a lot of you folks. I talk to you guys offline all the time through Facebook or maybe eBay Messenger or something like that. So, where'd I leave off? Number one, not becoming between that relationship. Number two, I don't think that I could give them, I don't think I could give Random Treasures exactly what they need. I think they want an advertisement to shine light, to make them look 100% perfect. And a lot of time, I think Jason just oversells. Like he's trying too hard, and I'm like, just talk about the figure. You don't have to oversell. If people like it, they're gonna buy it. The overselling, that kind of drives me away. And for me, I don't want to do that. In theory, if they were to come like, hey, we'll pay you we'll sponsor you to make videos for us, I like, look, I would love that. That would be awesome. You're awesome people. This is a company that I've enjoyed for years now. But I have to do it my way, and that means if there's something I don't like about the figure, I'm gonna point out those issues. I have to be honest with feedback because that's what my viewers have been expecting over the years. If I just automatically start saying I love this, that, and the other, when people have been watching my videos for years and they know exactly what I'm looking for and what I covet, and all of a sudden you got this figure that is 100% opposite of what I've been talking about loving over the years, that's gonna cause issues. So, but the third thing is, I've been giving Random Treasures free advertisement for years. Love it or hate it, they've been making sales again because I've been told that customers have been buying based off of my reviews, and I've been giving them free advertisement and I've been purchasing their figures. So, what incentive would they have to start doing business with me in that regard and start paying me for what I'm already doing for them for free? So, in that regard, no, that would never happen. Again, that just like taking over the new 80's Revolution moniker, even if it's not as part of the channel, just kind of being crowned the new 80s guy. No. It's an awesome sentiment on both ends to think about. I would love that, to be honest, but realistically, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense for me, based on how I built this channel up and the time and effort that I put into this channel, and it doesn't make sense for them as a business based on how I've already. Now, I could just say, hey, from this point forward, I'm going to stop advertising for all of these different companies. And if I do want to talk about the new figures that come in, just simply not mention them by name. In fact, I think I did that. I think I did that with Crush. For the first time, I don't think I mentioned Random Treasures in the title. I think I just simply said Crush is LJN or something like that. And am I going to start doing that for like Zombie Sailors and Hasbro Toys and all these other companies as well? Maybe. I mean, it would be nice to be sponsored by some of these companies, especially if you're giving them the greatest reviews ever. Random Treasures, I've always been a fan of the company. Now, I haven't always been a fan of every single figure that they've come out with, but I own every single figure that they've made. So, I mean, that has to tell you something. I mean, I at least am someone that can at least make the argument what I like and what I don't like and why. And I want to backtrack a little bit, kind of go back to my original argument. When Jason said that he blocked my comments because he didn't like that I disagreed with the Ivan Putski figure. There's a couple issues I had with that. Number one, not everybody is going to agree and have the same exact opinion. You love the figure? Great. Not everybody else will. Number two, I don't think Net cares one iota if I said I didn't like that figure. Number one, I still bought the figure. She got my money, so she's got to be ecstatic about that, right? I'm still on my channel, still talking about it. People are still putting eyes on that figure, so her product is still getting out there for others to see. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. Good publicity is publicity. Any publicity is good publicity. So, she did the right thing. She didn't get angry. She wasn't defensive. And she messaged back on that YouTube video. So, Matt, what kind of figures are you looking for? Or something like that. I forgot. I think that's what she said. Perfect. And I kind of gave her examples of LJNs because I love fighting poses. I think it's the most important thing. And look, these figures, this right here, they're for decoration for me. They're like pictures hanging up on a wall. I've said that this right here is my artwork. Am I on the ground wrestling these guys? No. They get put on stands and they sit on the shelves and they look beautiful. But that does not take away. I will always have that 8-year-old mindset or 6-year-old mindset, 5 or however old I was when I first started playing with wrestling figures. Play pose is always the very first thing I care about when I'm looking at a wrestling figure. And think about it. They're action figures and their intended use are play. And when I look at Ivan Putski as an example, so if this was a resin figure and this guy was $50 cheaper, and obviously as resin, his skin tone was more human-like, this would be a fantastic figure. Why? Because it would be a legitimate statue. This would be gorgeous. My issue is that it's not a resin statue. It's a rubber playable action figure, right? So it's an unplayable pose, and that's why it wasn't one of my favorites. So, but I bought the figure. And I'm not just some random guy who came across the figure by chance, like, oh, this is horseshit. No, I'm a consumer, and as probably the biggest consumer of the business, you would think that my opinion, holds some kind of value. So, and when I kind of mentioned some of the figures that I really enjoyed, play pose wise, and you think about Kamala and Hulk Hogan, right? Greg Valentine and Ultimate Warrior, stuff like that. Greg Valentine. Okay, the very next figure, Red Rooster. Perfect. Is Red Rooster a top 10 figure for me? Ram Treasures has come out with some absolutely phenomenal figures. Probably some of the greatest LJN or LJN style figures ever. And Red Rooster is not a top 10 among their personal collection. That just shows you how good a lot of their figures are. But they do have a lot of bad figures. And I call out the bad figures. But you best believe I will give them... I will harp on their good figures like crazy. No one will give them more of a shout out about their good figures than I will. And I will harp on every single detail of their awesome pieces. But yeah, if it ever comes down to it where they wanted to reach out to me, be like, hey, your feedback is important. We'd like to do business with you. If they understand that, hey, where I'm coming from, I want to give if I do reviews on your figures, and you understand that I want to give an honest assessment, this is where I'm at. If you're comfortable with that, and I'm not going to sit there and blast you like, this is the worst piece of crap ever. No, that's not the type of review I'm talking about. But I'm like with the Ivan Putski, I gave it a good example, I think, because as a playable wrestling action figure, it's not. As a statue, it'd be fine. The price associated with it for a non-workable figure, that doesn't work for me. Like I said, if you knock $50 off of it, make it a resin figure, turn it not into a wrestling figure but an actual statue, solid piece. The pose makes sense. I've seen some Hulk Hogan poses on Facebook that I really want. Think of the Hasbro Series 2 bear hug pose. The Hasbro Series 2 is one of the worst play poses of an action figure ever made. But nobody will ever put the Series 2 Hulk Hogan Hasbro on their list of worst Hasbro figures ever made. Why? Because it's an awesome looking figure. It's probably the worst playable figure ever. But nobody puts it on the list of top 10 worst. Why? Because it looks great. And there's an LJN figure that has that type of look, and I want it. Play pose sucks, but it looks solid. And I think it's made out of resin. And if it's a statue type figure, that would be amazing. So that's something as a creator and a distributor to consider. Yeah, I got it. Most of these figures are not made for kids. They're made for adults. They're made for collectors. And these aren't something that most people are going to be playing with. They're going to be used for display purposes only. 99.9% of us want play pose, and that's not even out of the question. Play pose is always number one. Color scheme will always be number two. Dino Bravo has the potential to be a 10 out of 10 figure. He's not. He has some of the best rubber I've ever seen from Ram Treasures. Absolutely love this. Color scheme is absolutely fantastic. Detail is perfect. He's got that El Gigante WCW pose, which kind of kills the figure for me. Otherwise, this would have been a 10 out of 10. Right now, he's probably a 9.6 out of 10. I mean, still practically a near perfect figure, but The pose is just, it doesn't kill it completely. It doesn't bring it down from like 10 to like 5, like a Virgil, for example. But is Virgil? Virgil's way back there. But Virgil, good example. Virgil, I saw Virgil when Virgil first came on Etsy. I'm like, oh, random treasures, how could you? I was so mad. Virgil was such a perfect figure. Now, how can such a perfect figure give me so many fits? So many fits. Because theoretically, it should be a 10 out of 10 figure. Like Zeus and Abdullah the Butcher, a lot of people don't like it. Me, I love it. I love the fact that it's got that glossiness to it. And to me, I love the glossiness of the look. That's incredible. The outfit, the design of the fit, of the color scheme is incredible. Fantastic. But the arms downward, like a Rick Rude, unusable. And now a 10 out of 10 figure is a 5 out of 10. 1,000,000%. If anybody asks me, does Virgil deserve to be purchased? 100%, absolutely yes. Go for it. I love Virgil the character. To me, he was always one of my enjoyable characters when growing up. So, but this video went a whole lot longer than I had ever planned. I'm so sorry, guys. But like I said, man, those light bulb storylines and discussions, they come from you guys. They come from random conversations, random everyday conversations. It's hard to come up with new ideas and new video concepts on a daily basis. So if I see something, if I'm like scrolling through TikTok or Facebook or something, I come across something, I'm like, hey, that's a good idea. It doesn't have to be something that everyone else is doing. It just might be something random. And somebody might say something like, you know, me and Kirk talking about collections. And that sparks the conversation about what we do with our collections when we're gone. Or me and Matt P. talking about what to do or how do we handle a loss of a pet, of a beloved pet. Or me and Chris talking about what do we do now that the New 80's revolution is retired. Or talking about his relationship with Random Treasures and my years of giving them, over years of giving them all of these different reviews on their figures. Yeah. It's not just figures, man. I mean, I bought like what, 200 freaking championship belts from them. Probably like 100 plus accessories. I'm probably exaggerating, but the point is, I bought 1,000,001 things from them. So, when I say I'm probably their biggest customer, I am not exaggerating. I can't speak for others, but I can speak for myself because I know the quantity that I bought, and yeah. That kind of got to me. Kind of going back as I was talking about Jason when he said he blocked me because he didn't like what I was saying about Net. I didn't say anything bad about Net. I just said I didn't like the Ivan Putski figure. I'm like, look, and I said it already, but I'll repeat. I'm not some just random guy who came across something on a video and like, hey, that's junk. I am a consumer. I am someone who buys every single one of Ram Treasure figures. And I still did go buy the figure eventually. I mean, it probably wasn't the sort of figure that I would immediately run to and purchase the very second that I see it on the page. But it is something I was going to purchase eventually. Now, things like Zeus. Once I see Zeus on the website, pick him up immediately. Not even a question. Get him in the mail. Bam. Run downstairs, hurry up and make a video about it, get it posted. Why? because that figure was freaking god. Like, that was so good. The Zeus figure is probably not just one of Random Treasure's best. Well, it is their best, but it is one of the best LJN style figures ever made. Period. Random Treasures gets to make that claim that they have probably one of the top 3 or top 5 figures ever. So, I mean, a lot of these figures, yeah, I'm going to pick them up. I may not pick them up right then and there, but they are going to be picked up. But yeah, she wasn't offended. She asked the question, you know, what am I interested in? And she came out with a good one right afterwards. So I kind of joked around that I take responsibility for having that good Terry Taylor figure, but I'm pretty sure she probably had that on the docket to come out next anyways. But it was just fun to kind of take responsibility for that one. Be like, you're welcome, everybody. That's it, guys, man. Shoot, man, this video's gone way too long. And a lot of these videos, like I said, guys, once I post them, I personally like to just kind of sit down in the morning time, drink my coffee or eat my cereal, whatever, and watch the videos. So I kind of enjoy watching the longer videos than I do, obviously, a 10-minute video, because it gives you something more to enjoy for a longer period of time. But hopefully you guys get a kick out of this. Hopefully it stirs up a lot of good comments. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people coming over from other channels. Going to make some spiteful comments or whatnot that I'm prepared for. But I don't think anything negative was said in this video. I'm trying to think back, but yeah, I don't think anything, not one bad thing was said, I don't think. Things I disagreed with, of course. Preferences, absolutely, but nothing negative, so. And same thing, guys, in the comments. Like I said, stay classy as always. Keep the comments as classy as you guys always do, always have. So, no shade or hate towards anyone. By all means, say what you love about this, that, or the other, or what you don't like. That's, you're more than welcome. I don't delete anyone's comments. This is an open forum for a reason. I like to hear from everybody. I like to hear other people's opinions and their different takes. So, and of course, you guys already know, I try to respond to each and every single comment I can, so if I get 1,000 comments, hey, that's 1,000 responses. So, alright, that's it for now, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching, and sorry about the darkness. Generally, when I do like these little discussion videos like this, one-on-one type deal, I'm not so worried about the lighting. Now, if I was doing a review, yeah, I'd probably be on the other side where there's more light, so you guys could actually see details and stuff, but just a plain discussion video, I'm not so worried about background lights and whatnot. So guys, as always, thank you for watching. The next video, nothing planned right now, so I'm gonna have to make some videos today, guys. Talk to you later. Goodbye for now.